Hello there, welcome again. This video is all about making compost as quickly as possible. You'll see through the video how this started off. More importantly, you'll see the ingredient list that went into making this compost, and then it'll progress through the various days. You don't have to watch this before, you don't have to watch it, but it might be worth staying around for the ingredient list. Something that would really help me with is to like this video if you found it at all useful. It helps me a ton. It helps all small creators, to be honest with you. And if you want to subscribe, please do. You don't have to watch every video if you don't find my latest release interesting. Absolutely fine. But it will help me out a lot. I put all this effort in to try and show you guys how to do things. A small favour in return. Now, first off, there's grass. There is lots of grass. That's my main green. It is the power horse for said compost heap, and it will offset all these browns that I've been collecting. And I'll talk you through them in brief details. There is one further green. I'm calling it a green because this will rot down really easy. This is banana leaves. Banana leaves really don't last very long, so I'm going to call that a green. Now then, the first brown is one that I've kept over here. Let's get that off. And it is strawberry leaves and leaves, a mixture of both. This is wood chips from the bottom of the pile. The next brown I'm going to show you is something that I've just collected as well. This is one that's been there winter, and it's bracken. Bracken is marvellous stuff. I can't recommend it highly enough. It makes compost really fast, it disappears, and it is absolutely superb. I couldn't rate that one bigger. The thicker bracken I will set aside. I've sorted it out. I'll set it aside and I'll use it for mulching the potatoes, so that won't go in. So let's take that away. Now then, if you haven't got bracken, which I guess most of you won't, you can always use animal bedding, wood shavings. Very upside down, but yeah, I'm sure you get the idea. There's another good brown. It doesn't always disappear very fast, but it doesn't seem to inhibit the compost at all. And the rest of this is browns that I've collected in the gardens. This stuff is agapanthus stems, sedum stems, all sorts of browns from the garden at home. This is old plants, ferns, leaves, stalks, you know, as much as you like. Now this here is barley straw. Now then, got to be a bit careful with barley straw because it will still have barley on it. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put it in yet. I'll see how the stalks feel. I don't want to introduce that too much because that will become weeds, of course, and we don't want weeds, do we? Nope, definitely not. And it's time to put together the heap. I would like to make one important point here, even though it's on fast speed. Take your time, mix the layers as you go. I see plenty of people advocating layers, absolutely fine, it will work, but I find that I get better results, quicker results by putting it in layers, kept fairly thin as you possibly can, mixing up thick bits with finer bits, and then very quickly giving those a mix in so that you end up with a multiple medium for the compost to go. And don't forget the water, don't skimp on water. The process is really quite simple. Add a layer, add another layer, try and add the browns and greens in roughly the same quantities. It's only good behaviour by doing so. But do think about particle size as well. That's another fairly good consideration. Having the larger bits in with the finer bits helps aeration. It will definitely help if you're going to go for cold composting, or if you're not going to be so keen on turning. It'll help trap the air within the pile, which is always good. If I use nothing but grass and bracken, I might run into a bit of problems. Perhaps what I ought to try is a heap in the future aimed at cold composting. Then I never recommend using a lawnmower to produce particle size of the browns normally, but that particular pile of browns was so long and straggly, I don't think it would have gone well in the mix. So I'd taken the hit on carbon usage by using the lawnmower. I know I've got to cut the grass with it, but that sort of task would normally happen anyway, so I kind of don't feel environmentally challenged by that bit. But normally I won't use petrol consumption or electricity consumption within a compost, because it's all about the environment, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Don't forget to add water. I just want to make a note on the particle size here. I have put in a batch of the material that I think will be okay, but we'll wait and see. Those won't be composted down by the end of this short period. They will remain, but my target is roughly the autumn for this pile. I want to do a 20-day compost with the vast majority of the material, but it will sit and finish for use in the autumn. That's my aim, and it's always pretty important to have some sort of goal in mind for making a compost heap, because that is as important as the actual heap itself. For instance, if I wanted this compost now, I would definitely not add those long bits in, because they've got no chance of breaking down in time for the end of this 20-day process. Absolutely none. So, just for the record, that was too much grass. At the end there I was piling it on. It means that I'm going to have to do the turn quite quick, 1 or 2 days, depending on the heat. And it's going to have to have a good mix from top to bottom, which means more work. So, not a greatest idea to put that much grass in a pile. Never mind, it's done. Anyway, so you get the idea. Lots of layers, try and mix as you go. I've run out of time a little bit, so a little bit rushy. Okay, turn one. Up here. Right, so here the turning of the compost it begins. 3 days between the start and this turn first off. And yeah, that was absolutely fine. 2-3 days seems to work for me. I quite often try and do it in 2 if I can, but there you go. I'm showing my process here where I remove 1/3, I move the middle third to the left, and then the end third to the middle, and then put this lot back in on top on the right hand side. I find in a one-bay system that works really well. Don't be afraid to add a bit more water if you feel areas of it are being a bit dry. So on the 5th day, this is now up to and above 70 degrees centigrade. It's a bit too hot really, but there we are. By day 8, this had really started to knock back the greens, looking fairly good. Day 12, I still haven't got a thermometer because I managed to forget it. Using the fork as a holding test, it's obviously too cold. So I decided to add another big load of greens to try and boost the temperature back up. So by day 14, that temperature is well back up into a good range and the heap is cooking once again. It'll only help the end result by hot compost. And then it's time to give it another turn, and as you see, yep, plenty of heat.
Well, that took barely 10 minutes, probably a bit less than that. Good workout, excellent stuff.
So this heap is currently at about 13 degrees, it's probably background temperatures, so it's gone cold. So the thermophilic or hot phase is finished, which is absolutely ideal. Is it compost? No. Is it multi-fuel? Yes, if you wanted to. Is it a product that is ready for the next phase? And that's what I'm hoping it is. So the next phase of this compost will be to turn it into worm farm. Not worm compost, but worm finished compost. So this will have a load of greens added, hopefully kept cool, not hot compost anymore. And then we'll introduce worms, which I'm desperate to move on from their present home. I'll show you that in a different video later on, so that'll be done in a Dalek. It's a little bit more controlled. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you got some use out of it. See you in the next one.